You have been cheating yourself, and you know it. Your body is in one place, your mind is somewhere else, and your spirit is nowhere at all. You walk into a room, but you do not arrive. You sit at your work, but your attention wanders. You are surrounded by people, but your thoughts drift to another time, another place, another life you imagine you should be living. Then at night you ask yourself, why is nothing changing? Why does success not come? The answer is simple and brutal. You are never fully where you are, and therefore you never give anything all you have. Life does not reward half-present men. Understand this clearly. Success does not belong to the man who touches many things lightly. It belongs to the man who touches one thing at a time with his whole mind, his whole will, his whole presence. You cannot build a strong life with a scattered spirit. A hammer does not drive a nail by tapping a dozen boards once. It drives it by striking one place repeatedly with force. Your mind is your hammer. Right now, you are swinging it at the air. Look at your typical day. You rise already thinking about everything except the first duty in front of you. While you wash, your mind jumps ahead to some conversation that has not yet happened. While you eat, you rehearse complaints about the day. You go to your work and think about home. You go home and think about work. You speak to one person while secretly wishing to be with another. You sit with a task yet feed your imagination with thoughts of being somewhere better. In this way, you weaken every hour. You are like a man who pours his strength into a sieve and wonders why the bucket never fills. You must learn a new discipline to be where you are, not where you wish you were, not where you might be tomorrow. Where you are, in this room, with these people, handling this task at this very moment. Until you master this, every plan you make will be built on sand, because you will never execute any of them with enough force to move the world even an inch. Do not argue with this. Look at the times in your life when you achieved something you were proud of. A difficult examination passed, a skill learned, a body strengthened, a sale made, a project completed. In those moments, you were not divided. You were absorbed. You forgot yourself, forgot your worries, forgot the clock. There was only the thing in front of you and the effort you were giving it. That state of absorption, of total presence, is not an accident. It is a power you can train. And if you desire a life of significance, you must train it. The first step is to strip away the lie that you are a victim of distraction. You are not. You may be undisciplined, but you are not helpless. A man is not a leaf blown by every wind of thought. He is endowed with the ability to direct his attention to say, I will think about this and not that. I will attend to this work and not that fantasy. You have allowed your mind to behave as a spoiled child, running wherever it wishes. Now you must become its master. Begin by confronting one truth. Wherever you are under contract. Not a contract written on paper, but a contract written in the laws of cause and effect. If you sit at your work, the universe is watching one thing, not what you say you want, but what you actually give. Are you pouring in your attention, your care, your intelligence, or are you merely occupying space, waiting for the hour to pass? If you are in the room, but your mind is wandering, you are breaking the contract. You are stealing time from your own future. Decide today that you will no longer live like that. Say to yourself, wherever my feet are standing, my mind will stand also. Whatever duties before me, I will give it my whole presence. Do not treat this as a pleasant phrase. Treat it as a personal law. Repeat it until it bites into you. Write it if you must. Place it where you cannot ignore it. Then train. When you sit down to your work, pause for a moment. Take a slow breath and say internally, "Now I am here." Let the words sink into you. Look at the task. Define it. Ask, what exactly must be accomplished in this next hour? What would a full effort look like? Name it clearly. A vague task invites a vague mind. A clear task invites a focused one. As you begin, your mind will try to run away. Old habits will call you toward daydreams, worries, imagined conversations, old failures, future hopes. You will feel the tug to drift. Do not be surprised. It is only the echo of how you have lived until now. But here is the critical point. You are not required to follow that tug. When your mind strays, do not panic and do not indulge it. Simply notice and bring it back. No, I am here. This is what I am doing now. Then continue. You may have to do this 50 times in an hour at first. That does not mean you are weak. It means your old habits are strong. Each time you bring your focus back, you add a grain of power to a new habit. You are teaching your mind who is in command. Day after day, that effort adds up. The pull of distraction grows weaker. The ability to remain with one thing grows stronger. What feels tiring at first will become natural. You must also set a standard for yourself. If you are not prepared to give at least near your full attention to a task, do not pretend to be working on it. You only train yourself in hypocrisy that way. If you must rest, then rest honestly. Close the book. Step away from the desk. But once you return to your duty, let that mean something. Let it mean, now I give myself to this. Being where you are is not just a matter of productivity. It is a matter of integrity. When someone speaks to you and you nod while thinking of something else, you are lying with your face. You pretend to listen while refusing to give the one thing that makes listening real: attention. Is it any wonder your relationships feel shallow, your connections weak? You have not been there even when your body has. Train yourself differently. When you are with a person, be with that person. Look, listen, weigh, respond. You will be astonished how much more clearly you understand others and how much more they trust you when your mind stops wandering like a stray dog. The same principle applies in your private life. When you rest, then rest. Many men never truly rest because they cannot stop dragging their work into their leisure and their leisure into their work. They sit with their family while revisiting the day's problems. They sit at their work while regretting what they did not do with their family. In both places, they are absent. They exhaust themselves not because they do too much, but because they are never wholly in any of it. You must set inner boundaries. When you leave your place of work, say to yourself, "For these hours, I am not a worker. I am a husband, a father, a son, a student of life." When you enter your place of work, say, "For these hours, I am not a dreamer of idle dreams. I am a builder." Guard those boundaries. Of course, serious responsibilities will sometimes cross them, but those occasions should be the exception, not the rule. A life divided into clear roles, lived fully, is far stronger than a life where every role bleeds into every other in a constant fog. This discipline of presence is also the cure for your constant dissatisfaction with where you are in life. You have been standing on one step while staring up at the staircase, cursing the distance, and ignoring the simple fact that the next step is always under your feet. You do not climb by longing for the landing. You climb by giving each step your full weight. Whatever your current position, modest, humble, even unpleasant, it contains opportunities to train yourself, to improve, to serve, to learn. You will only see those opportunities if you are fully there. The man who despises where he is cannot rise from it. He has turned his present into an enemy instead of an ally. He treats every hour as a prison sentence to endure, not as raw material to work with. In doing so, he proves himself unready for anything higher. Promotion is not a gift. It is a recognition. Life says, "This man has been faithful where he was. He has been present. He has given himself fully to tasks others treated lightly. He has earned the right to carry more." So stop saying, "This place is beneath me." Say instead, "This place is my training ground. If I cannot give 100% here, I have no business demanding more there." That resolve alone will change the way you move. You will cease slouching through your days like a man in chains and begin to move like a soldier on duty, present, alert, aware that every action is part of a larger campaign. Do not confuse this with permanent contentment with poor conditions. Presence does not mean surrender. It means that while you are here, you are truly here. You do your best work, you cultivate your mind, you stabilize your character. Then, when the door opens to a better field, you walk through it with skill sharpened and integrity tested. Not as an escape, but as a promotion you are equal to. You have wasted enough time living in 3 places at once: yesterday, tomorrow, and somewhere else. Bring yourself back. When you walk, walk. When you work, work. When you rest, rest. When you love, love. This seems simple. It is not easy, but it is the path from fog to focus, from restlessness to power. Make a decision now. You will train yourself to be where you are and give 100% there. Not as a passing experiment, but as the new law of your life. Every time your mind wanders, bring it back. Every time you catch yourself half present, wake yourself fully. You will fail many times. Do not let that trouble you. Every return is a victory. Every moment of full presence is a brick in the structure of the man you are building. In time, you will notice something strange. Tasks that once tired you now energize you. Relationships that once felt dull now hold depth. Simple work you once despised now becomes a field in which you can practice excellence. And behind it all, quietly approaching, you will feel something else. Opportunities, doors, invitations, recognition. Success will be moving toward you, drawn by the unmistakable force of a man who has finally learned to stand where he stands and give all he has to the ground beneath his feet. You have heard these ideas. Now you must weld them into habit. A man is not transformed by listening, he is transformed by training. You will not become present by admiring the concept or agreeing with the logic. You will become present the same way a musician becomes skillful or a boxer becomes sharp, through repetition, through deliberate practice, through facing resistance and continuing anyway. Presence is a muscle. You have allowed it to atrophy. Now you must make it strong. Begin with the hardest place, the moments you dislike. It is easy to be present when work is interesting, when rewards are near, when people are pleasant. Any child can give attention to what entertains him. Your weakness shows itself in the dull, the difficult, and the disagreeable hours. Those are the moments you escape in your mind. You sit at a task that seems beneath you, and you drift into fantasies of a better life. You stand before a tedious duty, and you let your spirit go limp. That is precisely where your training must begin, because that is where your character is currently the weakest. Take one recurring task you resent, some repetitive work, some routine responsibility. For the next week, make it your personal arena. Each time you face it, say quietly, "This is where I train my mind." Refuse to treat it as punishment. Treat it as a gymnasium for your attention. As you perform it, do not merely endure. Watch. Notice the details. Study the process. Ask, how could this be done better? Faster? More accurately? With less waste? The mediocre man never asks those questions because he has already left the room in his mind. The man who will rise asks them constantly. You will discover something powerful. The moment you stop resisting a task internally and start engaging it fully, your energy changes. What once drained you now begins to sharpen you. The same duty that used to leave you dull now leaves you alert. You may even find improvements that save time, reduce errors, or make the work more useful to others. When you do, implement them if you can. Now your presence is producing visible value. The task is not changed, you have. Apply this same discipline to the uncomfortable conversations you avoid. When someone confronts you, criticizes you, or brings you bad news, your instinct is to retreat inside yourself, to half listen while your mind defends your pride. You hear words, but you do not receive meaning. You are busy preparing your reply, your excuse, your counterattack. That is the behavior of a man ruled by fear of judgment. If you want to grow, you must reverse it. When criticism comes, stay where you are. Look the speaker in the eye. Listen to every word, not as an enemy, but as a surgeon listens to a report before an operation. Ask yourself, is there any truth here that could make me better? Do not rush to speak. Let the words land. Separate the emotion from the information. Even clumsy or unjust criticism often carries a seed of truth. A present man can find that seed, plant it, and grow from it. An absent man misses it and repeats his errors. This does not mean you must accept every accusation. It means you must be strong enough to face them without running away in your mind. The man who can remain fully present while his pride is wounded is already rare. He can learn from what others waste. That ability alone will move you ahead of many who are more gifted but less willing to endure discomfort in the service of growth. Now let us turn to the way you handle pressure. When demands pile up, you tell yourself, I have too much to do. That thought fragments you. You jump from task to task, never fully in any of them, driven by a vague panic. Your mind rushes ahead to the next problem while your hands are still on the current one. You believe you are managing many things at once, but you are only scattering your power. The result is shoddy work, needless mistakes, and exhaustion without satisfaction. You must adopt a different rule. Under pressure, narrow your focus. When many things scream for your attention, choose one and give it all you have until a clear step is finished. Write your duties down. Put them in order of consequence. Ask, which action, if done well, will remove the most weight from my shoulders or from the shoulders of those who depend on me? Do that first. While you are doing it, be ruthless with your attention. If other concerns arise in your mind, do not follow them. Capture them on paper if needed, then return at once to the task at hand. What you will find is that completion calms. A fully executed step brings peace that 100 half-started efforts never can. Each finished action clears space for the next. As you train yourself to move this way, your mind will become less frantic in crises. Others will still be rushing in 10 directions, you will be moving in one. That steadiness under pressure is a mark of presence. People will sense it. They will trust you more readily with important responsibilities because you are not swept away by urgency. Presence also demands that you stop dividing yourself between what you are doing and what others may be thinking of you. You waste enormous strength trying to watch yourself through imagined eyes. You are speaking, and a part of your mind is asking, do I sound wise? You are working, and another part whispers, do they notice? You are learning, and you secretly ask, do I look foolish right now? All this self-consciousness is a tax on your attention. It makes you timid, hesitant, and artificial. Train yourself to care more about the quality of the work than about the impressions it creates. When you speak, focus on clarity, not on display. Ask, am I saying what is true and useful? When you work, focus on accuracy and effort, not on appearances. Ask, is this task being completed to the best of my current ability? When you learn, focus on understanding, not on ego. Ask, do I grasp this well enough to use it and explain it? The less space you give to vanity, the more space you free for presence. Ironically, as you stop trying to look impressive and concentrate on being effective, people will begin to respect you more. Do not neglect physical discipline in this training. Your body is the instrument through which your mind expresses itself. A tired, neglected body pulls attention inward with aches, fog, and restlessness. You do not need luxury, you need order. Sleep enough to think clearly. Eat in a way that sustains energy instead of dulling it. Move your body regularly so that tension is released instead of stored. These are not indulgences. They are the maintenance required if you intend to give 100% where you are. A man who constantly fights his own physical weakness cannot fully attend to anything. Another practice will greatly increase your power to be present. The deliberate use of pauses. You rush from one thing to the next as if every moment were chasing you. You finish one conversation and plunge into another without taking a breath. You close one task and immediately open another. In doing so, you never allow your mind to reset itself. You carry the residue of one activity into the next, like mud on your boots spreading across every floor. Instead, build small gates between the different parts of your day. Before you enter a room, stop for a heartbeat. Ask, who will I be in here? What is needed from me? Before you pick up a new task, breathe once and say, now I am doing this. Before you step into your home at day's end, pause at the door and remind yourself, whatever happened today, I am now here with these people. They deserve my presence. These small acts of intention gather your scattered pieces and bring them through the doorway as one. Presence is also the enemy of procrastination. You delay not because tasks are impossible, but because your mind inflates them into monsters. You think of everything at once, the whole mountain, until you feel paralyzed. Then you flee into smaller, easier diversions, telling yourself you will begin later. Later arrives, and the same fog remains. The cure is to bring your attention down to the smallest next action and do it now with full presence. Ask, what is the first clear step? It might be opening a book, arranging tools, writing a title, making a single call, laying out materials. Do that step and nothing else. Commit yourself to a short, defined period of total focus, perhaps 15 or 20 minutes on the task. Tell yourself, for this period, I am here with this one thing. You will find that once you start, momentum appears. The task shrinks to its true size. Procrastination is not solved by more willpower in the future, but by more presence in the present. Let us also speak of the temptation to live in memory and fantasy. There is a subtle pride in constantly revisiting the past and rehearsing the future. It allows you to feel important in your own imagination while remaining unproductive in your real life. You think about old injuries, replaying scenes where you were wronged. You think about old victories, replaying scenes where you shone. You imagine future triumphs where everything is easy. In all of this, very little is happening where it counts. Here, today, in the work and relationships that actually exist, memories and plans have their place. You must learn from the past and prepare for the future. But give them their proper time, not your whole life. Set aside specific periods to review what has been and design what will be. Outside those periods, refuse to dwell on them. When your mind drifts back into yesterday's scenes, say, "That has been considered. Now I am here." When it races ahead into fantasy, say, "Plans have their hour. This is the hour of action." In this way, you anchor yourself to the only place where you can truly act, the present moment. You may ask, if I live so fully in the present, will I not lose my vision? On the contrary, your vision will become sharper. A man who is present in his work understands its realities. He sees its constraints and its possibilities clearly. His plans for the future are therefore grounded, not made of mist. A man who is absent from his present duties builds castles in the air. His dreams are not visions, they are escapes. When such a man tries to move toward them, he discovers that there was never any solid path, only wishful thinking. Presence is the foundation on which any worthy vision must rest. It does not mean you abandon long-range goals. It means that every long-range goal is broken down into present tense acts of full engagement. You want to master a craft, then today you must be fully in your practice. You want a strong household, then tonight you must be fully in your time at home. You want leadership, then in the next meeting you must be fully in listening, deciding, and shouldering responsibility. Understand, finally, that training yourself to be where you are is not a small improvement. It is a complete shift in the way you live. Most men move through life as ghosts, half aware, half committed, blurred at the edges. Their days vanish in a haze of partial efforts and unfocused hours. They wonder at 50 or 60 where the time went and why so little of it turned into anything substantial. They did not lack days. They lacked presence. You are choosing otherwise. You are deciding that each hour you are given will be met with your full weight. You will not stand in one place while wishing yourself into another. You will not hold your tools with limp hands. You will grip them. You will not nod while your mind wanders. You will listen. You will not drift through your duties. You will attack them. You will not complain about being stuck. You will dig where you stand until the ground yields its lessons and its opportunities. This transformation will not happen in a single burst of excitement. It will be built in quiet, repetitive acts of returning your attention, of saying, "Now I am here," and proving it with what you do next. Others may never see this hidden labor. They will only see the results. The sharpness of your skill, the solidity of your character, the weight of your presence, the reliability of your work. They will call it talent or temperament or luck. Let them. You will know the truth. You trained yourself to be where you are and give 100% there, and life, which always respects such men, rearranged itself in your favor. You have begun to understand that presence is not just a method for doing tasks, it is a way of being. Now you must see how this way of being rearranges everything that touches your life, your work, your relationships, your character, your future. A man who is fully where he is becomes a different creature from the drifting crowd. He thinks differently, moves differently, is trusted differently. The world responds to him with a different tone. You are in the process of becoming that man. But to finish that process, you must take presence from the level of effort into the level of identity. Up to now, you have told yourself, "I will try to be more focused," as if focus were a task on a list. That is too weak. You must say instead, "I am a man who gives his whole self to whatever is before him." That "I am" statement is not a declaration, it is a command to your subconscious mind. Your inner world hears that definition and begins to adjust your feelings, your reactions, your choices to match it. If instead you say, "I am easily distracted, I am restless, I cannot stay with one thing," you are issuing the opposite command. You are training your spirit to accept fragmentation as your nature. So start speaking to yourself as the man you are choosing to become, not as the man you have been. When you catch your attention wandering, do not curse yourself. Say firmly, "This is not like me. I am a man who is present." Then act accordingly. Each time you do this, you chisel another stroke into the statue of your new identity. Soon the figure becomes clear. Presence must also be joined with purpose. A man who is fully present but has no clear direction can still waste his life efficiently. He will give 100% to effort that goes nowhere. That is why you must marry this discipline with a definite aim. Ask yourself, if I continue to bring my whole self to the duties of each day, where do I ultimately want that path to lead? The answer should not be a vague wish, but a clear picture of the kind of man you intend to be and the kind of work you intend to be known for. You might say, "I will become a master of my craft, known for precision and reliability." Or, "I will become a builder of organizations that give many people a chance to grow." Or, "I will become a wise steward of resources, trusted to manage wealth in ways that benefit more than myself." Whatever form it takes, your purpose must be specific enough to guide your choices, but broad enough to stretch you beyond your current limits. When your purpose is clear, every act of presence becomes a brick laid in a wall that has meaning. Once you have this picture, your presence gains a new intensity. You are no longer just doing your job. You are practicing being the man your vision requires. When you work carefully on small tasks, you are training the hand that will one day handle larger ones. When you listen fully to one person, you are training the mind that will one day counsel many. When you stand firm in a difficult hour, you are training the spine that will one day bear heavier loads. You are not waiting for the future. You are rehearsing it. You must also understand that being where you are does not mean being ruled by where you are. You can give 100% in a low position without believing that you are destined to remain there forever. Many confuse presence with resignation. They think, if I fully accept my current place, I have given up my dream. That is false. It is precisely by fully accepting and mastering your current place that you earn the right to leave it for a higher one. Think of a man climbing a mountain. If he keeps glancing up every few seconds craving the summit, he will stumble, misplace his footing, and exhaust his strength. But if he attends to each step, choosing where to plant his foot, balancing his weight, adjusting his grip, he rises steadily. He has not forgotten the summit. He has simply learned that the summit is reached by present tense steps, not by future tense fantasies. Your life is no different. Presence will also change the way you handle boredom. That word has become a mask you wear to avoid responsibility. You say, I am bored, as if that were an indictment of the world, when it is actually an indictment of your own mind. A man who is fully where he is does not live in boredom. Even in a simple duty, he finds something to refine, something to observe, something to understand. He brings curiosity to his work. He asks, why is this done this way? What principle governs this process? What happens if I improve this step? Boredom evaporates in the light of such questions. You will find that many duties you once despised were only dull because you approached them lazily. You worked mechanically with your mind half asleep. The moment you bring your full intelligence to them, they begin to yield secrets, patterns, problems, possibilities. You start to see ways to reduce waste, to prevent errors, to make things smoother for others. Now you are not merely performing a task, you are adding value. The same act done with presence becomes a laboratory for growth. Presence also changes the way you relate to time. Before, you treated hours as enemies to be killed. You passed time as if it were a burden. You spoke of wasting time as if there were more where it came from. You rushed through the present to reach some imagined future where everything would finally be easy. In this way, you insulted the most precious resource you will ever possess. A man who is where he is sees time differently. He understands that each hour is a container, and what he pours into it becomes his future. If he fills many hours with half-hearted effort, idle thinking, and scattered attention, he has built a weak future. If he fills them with full presence, sincere effort, and clear thought, he has built a strong one. Time is not cruel. It is exact. It returns to you what you gave it, multiplied. So stop speaking of killing time. Time is killing you. Every day you live half present is a day you will never regain. Instead, treat each hour as a chance to invest in yourself, your skills, your relationships, your vision. Even when you are forced into an activity you did not choose, you can still choose how you will be in it. You can attend, learn, and strengthen yourself, or you can sulk and drift. The external situation may be fixed. Your internal stance is not. Your presence will also transform how other people experience you. You have walked through life feeling unnoticed, unappreciated, perhaps invisible. Some of that may have been unfair, but some of it came from the fact that you were not truly there. You spoke without fully listening, agreed without fully understanding, nodded without fully caring. People sense this. They may not put it into words, but they feel when a man is only half engaged. They do not trust him with their deeper concerns or their serious responsibilities. As you train yourself to be fully where you are, that begins to change. When you listen, people feel heard. When you agree, they feel you mean it. When you give your word, they see in your eyes that it is not a casual phrase. When you work alongside others, they feel your effort and your seriousness. They begin to say, he is solid. He is dependable. He is present. That quiet respect is worth more in the long run than flashes of charm or bursts of enthusiasm. It is the soil in which real opportunity grows. Do not underestimate this. A single person who deeply trusts your presence, a supervisor, a partner, a client, a teacher, a mentor, can alter the entire trajectory of your life. They will think of you when chances arise. They will speak your name in rooms you are not in. They will stand behind you when others doubt. But they will only do this if, time after time, you have met them fully where you were, giving 100% to the tasks and conversations you shared. Presence will also expose and refine your motives. When you are fully where you are, you can no longer hide from yourself. In distraction, a man can pretend he is noble. He can speak of high ideals while giving little of himself to what actually lies in his hands. But when he stands face to face with his duties and relationships, his true motives come into view. You will find, for example, that there are tasks you avoid not because they are unworthy, but because they do not stroke your pride. There are people you ignore not because they are unimportant, but because their attention does not flatter you. There are opportunities to grow that you decline, not because they are irrelevant, but because they expose your ignorance. Presence will not allow you to hide these things in the fog. It will hold them up to your own sight. When that happens, do not turn away. This is one of the great benefits of a fully present life. It reveals where you are still small. It gives you a chance to outgrow the man you settle for. When you see pettiness, resolve to replace it with generosity. When you see vanity, replace it with a commitment to substance. When you see cowardice, replace it with a commitment to action. Presence gives you the information. Discipline lets you change it. You must also be careful not to confuse presence with intensity alone. Some men can work in brief bursts of fiery effort, but only when the mood suits them. They attack a task for a few hours with great energy, then collapse into idleness for days. They mistake this occasional blaze for commitment. It is not. Presence is not measured by how loudly you strain for a short time. It is measured by how consistently you bring your full self to what is before you day after day, whether anyone is watching or not. That brings us to a harder truth. Being where you are and giving 100% will cost you some comforts you have grown used to. You will no longer be able to hide in constant mental escape. You will have to meet your life as it is, its difficulties, its demands, its current limitations. You will have to feel the weight of your responsibilities instead of numbing yourself against them. You will have to accept that some of your past choices have placed you in a situation that requires more effort to climb from than you wish. This can be painful at first. It is easier to float in half awareness than to stand up fully awake in a life that is not yet what you want. But understand, staying half awake condemns you to keep it that way. Only a man who is fully present can change his circumstances at their roots. The pain you feel upon waking is the pain of muscles unused, eyes opening to stark light. It will pass if you continue. And what comes after it, clarity, strength, direction, is worth every moment of discomfort. As your presence strengthens, you will find that you need less external stimulation to feel alive. Before, you depended on constant novelty, new amusements, new distractions, new entertainments to jolt your dull mind into feeling. Now, the simple act of doing one thing well begins to satisfy you. The sound of your own thoughts working clearly, the feeling of your own hands moving skillfully, the sight of a completed task done with care, these become their own reward. You are no longer chasing excitement. You are cultivating depth. We must also speak of faith. To give 100% where you are, especially when results are not immediate, requires a certain trust that your effort will not be wasted. If you do not believe this, you will always hold something back. You will say, "Why should I give my best?" No one sees. No one rewards. Nothing changes. That is the voice of disbelief. It is the voice of a man who does not understand the law of cause and effect operating over time. You must decide to believe that full presence is never lost, even if its fruits are delayed. The skills you sharpen, the character you forge, the reputation you build, the relationships you strengthen, these are deposits in an account that life will, in due season, allow you to draw upon. You may not know exactly when or how, but the law is there. Half-heartedness never produces full harvests. Wholeheartedness never stays barren forever. This faith is not blind. It is based on observation. Look around at those who have built enduring success, not the loud temporary flashes, but the steady builders. You will see men who for long periods were almost unknown, who worked where they were with seriousness, who attended to details, who were present in every step. Eventually, life entrusted them with more. Whether they use that trust well is another matter, but the pattern is consistent. A man who is fully in his post invites promotion. You are not being asked to believe in luck. You are being asked to believe in law. That concentrated effort, applied with integrity over time, changes reality. Presence is the form that concentrated effort takes in the present moment. Without it, your plans and hopes are only mist. With it, they become wood and stone. So, as you move through the coming days, do not treat this as an inspiring idea to occasionally remember. Treat it as the new measure of your manhood. At your work, ask, am I truly here? In your home, ask, are these people receiving my full heart or my leftovers? In your studies, ask, is my mind in this page, this problem, this lesson? In your challenges, ask, am I meeting this trial with my whole self, or am I hiding in distraction? Each honest answer will show you where to stand up straighter. Each honest answer will show you where your next growth must occur. And each time you choose presence where absence once ruled, you will feel it, a small, quiet strengthening inside. That is the feeling of a scattered life being gathered into one direction. That is the feeling of a man finally beginning to live as more than a shadow of himself. You stand now before a simple, hard choice. Will you continue to live scattered, half awake, half committed, or will you become a man whose very life is an act of full presence? No one can choose this for you. No speech, no book, no teacher can climb inside your will and turn it. You must turn it yourself. You must decide that from this day forward, you will not insult your own potential by meeting life with half of yourself. You will be where you are, and you will give 100% there. Do not wait until conditions improve. That is the old voice speaking, the voice that has cost you years. It says, when I have a better job, then I will give my best. When others appreciate me more, then I will be fully present. When I am paid what I deserve, when I am surrounded by better people, when I feel more inspired, that voice is the guardian of mediocrity. It will always find another condition to blame. It will always move the start line one day farther away. Understand this. If you will not give 100% where you are, you will not give 100% when you arrive where you dream of being. You will simply carry the same divided habits into a different room. The scenery will change. You will not. Presence is not granted by promotion. It is developed in obscurity. The man who cannot command himself in small rooms will never command himself on big stages. So start with the day in front of you. When you rise, do not stumble blindly into your hours as you have done so many times. Sit up. Put your feet on the floor. Before you take a single step, speak clearly to yourself. Today, wherever I am, I will be there. Whatever I do, I will do it with my whole mind and my whole heart. Say it slowly enough that you can hear it not only with your ears but with your conscience. Let these words be your morning contract. Now, carry that contract into your first duty. Perhaps it is a simple chore. Perhaps it is time set aside for study or exercise or planning. Do not rush through it as if it were meaningless. Treat it as the first test of your promise. Ask, can I give myself to this fully for this period of time? Then do so. Do not look beyond it. Do not wish it away. Complete it as if someone you greatly respect were watching you, even if no one is. You will know whether you have honored the contract, even if no one else does. As you move into your work, whether grand or humble, refuse to carry your body in one place and your mind in another. When you cross the threshold of your workplace, say inwardly, now I am here to build. Look at the tasks that belong to you. Tell yourself, these are mine. They carry my name. They reveal my character. That thought alone will sharpen you. You will feel the difference between merely getting through the day and using the day as an arena for mastery. You may be tempted to think, if I give this much where I am, others will take advantage of me. That fear has kept many men small. Ask yourself instead, if I do not give this much, who will I become? You are not only producing results, you are producing yourself. Every act of full presence strengthens your inner structure. Every act of half-hearted drifting weakens it. There is always a transaction taking place. Either you are adding bricks to the fortress of your character, or you are prying them loose. Remind yourself often that you are being paid in more than coins. Life pays you in skill, in discipline, in reputation, in clarity, in the quiet authority that comes from having met many demanding days with your whole self. A wage can be spent. These inner earnings cannot be stolen. They follow you into every field you enter. They speak for you before you open your mouth. They invite opportunities you could never have forced. As you train yourself to be where you are, you will begin to notice how often others are not. You will see a man nodding while his eyes are glazed over. You will hear answers that reveal no real listening. You will watch others go through the motions of their work, conserving their energy for imaginary futures that never arrive. Do not let this discourage you. Let it strengthen your resolve. Their absence is your advantage. In a world of vacant attention, a fully present man becomes rare and valuable. Apply this same law to your relationships. When you stand in front of another human being, understand that your presence is a form of respect. To look at a person, to listen carefully, to weigh their words, to respond thoughtfully, this is to say, you matter. This moment matters. When you do this consistently, you will find doors opening in the hearts of others that remain closed to the distracted man. They will confide in you, consult you, support you, because you have given them something few receive, undivided attention. When you are with those closest to you, you must be even more vigilant. It is easy to take them for granted, to assume they will always be there, to give them only the leftovers of your energy, while you save your best presents for strangers and superiors. This is a grave mistake. If your house is built on neglect, no success outside its walls will make up for it. Decide that when you are with those you love, you will truly be with them. Not merely sharing space, but sharing attention. Putting aside the noise in your mind long enough to see them, hear them, and appreciate them. You will find that this choice transforms your experience of companionship. Conversations become deeper. Moments become richer. Conflicts, when they arise, are resolved more quickly because you are truly engaged in understanding, not just waiting for your turn to speak. You begin to receive from your relationships what you had been seeking elsewhere. Connection, support, and a sense that your life is about more than your own striving. Now consider how presence changes the way you face hardship. When trouble strikes, a divided man tries to escape it in thought. His body is confronting the problem, his mind is running away. He fills his imagination with worst-case scenes or empty wishes. In doing so, he multiplies his suffering without solving anything. He lives the difficulty many times in his head while dealing with it poorly once in reality. The present man responds differently. When adversity appears, he does not waste himself fighting what already is. He says, "This has come. I am here. What is required of me now?" That question brings his power to the surface. He examines the facts calmly. He identifies the possible actions. He chooses one and throws himself into it. He does not pretend the pain is pleasant, but he refuses to add to it by living in fantasy. His feet stay under him. His hands remain steady. You may have noticed that when you finally stop resisting a hardship and turn your full presence toward dealing with it, something inside you straightens. You feel a strange dignity, even in the struggle. That dignity is not pride. It is the strength of a man who has decided to stand where he stands rather than collapsing inward. Life respects such a man. He may be knocked down, but he is not easily kept down. Each trial leaves him more tempered, not more broken. Presence also reshapes your inner talking. Your mind has been a noisy hall where anxious voices cry out, and no one takes command. Thoughts rush in and out without order. Accusations from the past, fears from the future, judgments against yourself and others, they all crowd your attention, pulling you away from the present. You have treated this chaos as if it were natural. It is not. It is undisciplined. Begin to speak inside yourself with more authority. When you notice your thoughts drifting into useless paths, complaints you have repeated 100 times, fears you can do nothing about in this moment, comparisons that poison your spirit, say firmly, "Not now. This is not where I am." Then redirect your mind to the immediate duty. Ask, what can be done here? What can be learned here? How can I behave honorably here? In this way, you turn your inner conversation from aimless noise into a commander's voice. Over time, you will find that your thoughts themselves begin to change. Present-focused questions will replace helpless ones. Instead of, "Why does this always happen to me?" you will ask, "How can I answer this better than I did before?" Instead of, "What if everything goes wrong?" you will ask, What step can I take now that makes things more likely to go right? These new questions are bridges from fear to action. They are not born in dreamers, they are born in men who have trained themselves to stand firmly in the moment they inhabit. You will also notice that your sense of self-worth shifts. Before, you judged yourself based on results you had not yet produced. You said, I will feel like a man when I have this title, that income, those possessions. You measured yourself against a distant horizon and found yourself lacking. This self-judgment either drove you into frantic striving or into quiet despair. When you begin to live by presence, your standard changes. You ask instead, did I give myself fully to the duties of this day? If the answer is yes, you can stand up straight, even if the outward results are still small. You know you are building. You know you are honoring the bargain with yourself. Your respect for yourself grows not because you have arrived, but because you are finally traveling honestly. This does not mean you become satisfied with smallness. It means that your pride no longer depends on illusions. You are not pretending to be further along than you are. You are not borrowing your sense of value from tomorrow. You are earning it in today's effort. Such a man is hard to shake. Praise does not intoxicate him because he knows whether he has truly been present. Blame does not crush him because he knows the same. His mirror is his conscience, not the changing expressions of the crowd. Presence, practiced over months and years, will eventually make your life appear smooth to others. They will say, he makes things look effortless. They will not see the hidden discipline. The countless moments you brought your wandering mind back to the work at hand, the countless times you showed up fully when you felt like hiding, the countless small tasks you did with care when no one was looking, to them your grace will look like a gift. To you, it will be recognized as the product of an inner law you have obeyed without compromise. Do not be surprised if, as this law reshapes you, new opportunities seem to arrive out of nowhere. They are not appearing from nowhere. They are appearing from the field you have been plowing in silence. A man who is fully engaged where he is becomes noticeable, even if he does not seek attention. His work speaks. His attitude speaks. His reliability speaks. One person mentions him to another. A door opens. When such doors appear, you will be ready. You will not feel like an imposter, stepping into rooms beyond your preparation. You will feel a calm seriousness. You will think, this is more, but it is not foreign. I have been preparing for this in every day that I chose to be present. That quiet confidence is far stronger than any artificial bravado. It allows you to move into new responsibilities without trembling, because you are standing on rock, not on wishes. There will still be days when you fail your own standard. You will catch yourself drifting, speaking without listening, working with half a mind, living in memory or fear. Do not use these failures as excuses to abandon the law. Use them as reminders of how different you feel when you obey it. Each stumble is not a final judgment. It is another chance to return. Presence is not a state you reach once and keep forever. It is a choice you make again and again until it becomes your nature. You must decide whether you are willing to live with that kind of ongoing effort. Many are not. They prefer the comfort of numbness to the discomfort of awareness. They choose the ease of drifting over the discipline of directed attention. You cannot change them, but you can decide that you will not join them. You can decide that your life will not be a long blur of almost lived days. So fix this resolve in your heart. You will train yourself to be where you are and give 100% there, in every season, in every place, in every role. Not perfectly, but persistently. You will bring your whole mind to your work, your whole heart to your relationships, your whole courage to your challenges. You will stop waiting for a different life to deserve your best, and you will give your best to the life you have, knowing that this is the only path by which it can grow into the life you desire. Say it to yourself until it sinks all the way in. If I am here, then I am truly here. If I touch a thing, I touch it with my whole being. If I speak, I mean what I say. If I work with all I have. If I love without hiding. My power is in the present, and I will live there. Live by that, day after day, and you will discover a strange reversal. You will stop chasing success as if it were always somewhere else. You will realize that success has been standing beside you all along, waiting for you to arrive, not in some distant place, but in this very moment, with your whole self awake, ready, and committed. When a man lives like that, doors open, paths appear, and life itself seems to lean forward and say, "At last, here is someone I can trust with more."